Art and character designs provided by Demon Artie. Be sure to follow her over on Twitter at ArtieDemon. Want to be first to have access to early artwork, concept sketches, exclusive art that can't be seen anywhere else? Then support Demon Artie over on her Patreon. Link in description below. Carmen Sandiego To Steal or Not to Steal premiered on Netflix just right now, and for those who don't know, it's a choose your own adventure style game. So much like they did with what was that Black Mirror one, they did something like that, and now we get to do with Carmen Sandiego. And at first I had questions like, oh, how's this going to work? Yes, you can lose. And I did lose, I think, 3 times. So this review is going to be my first playthrough, how I experienced it. And there's 8 different endings. And they count the losing ending. So I got like 4 of them. But I will go back and do more. But this first initial review will be my adventure with Carmen Sandiego. So it opens up with a tutorial telling you what this is. It's not just like a regular episode. You have to choose what to do. So the first act starts out in Shanghai, and they're going after something else. You know how Carmen's always trying to stop V.I.L.E from stealing something, so she steals it first. And then you get your first choice, which is, oh, do you go to the roof or do you go on the ground, guns ablaze, and just break right in? And me, I wanted to play this very sneaky. That was my first playthrough. I wanted to do everything non-confrontational, as sneaky as possible. As we'll find out later, it doesn't work out that way. But I choose rooftop, and then she uses her pretty cool kind of grappling hook type thing. Gets across, gets in there. Easy peasy, boom, right into the vault. So I'm assuming that was the good choice. And then we see that there's nothing but a tablet in there. And it's a V.I.L.E tablet. And then we get the whole, you're going to end up working for us now. She's like, why in the world would I ever do that? Because we kidnapped your partners. I like how they keep referring to them as her operatives, but that's not how she sees it. I love how V.I.L.E is kind of playing this whole thing like, yeah, you're still stealing, you're still doing all the things that we taught you. So I kind of like that, but she's like, well, okay, they're gonna mind wipe them and make them into V.I.L.E operatives if you don't do what we say. So okay, here we go. Here's the funny thing. The name of this game is called To Steal or Not to Steal, but you have to steal. You automatically lose the game if you don't do it. And then we get our next choice. Go after them or just do what V.I.L.E says. Again, I'm avoiding action, so I went just do what V.I.L.E says. And okay, we get our first mission. We're going into China and we're stealing one of those terracotta warriors. And then we get edutainment. It's not deep and big because there's 3 different edutainment sections, but we learned about the underground city where the emperor was buried and he had all the soldiers that were built there to protect him. Pretty cool. Carmen shows up and we see Tigress there, and it's like, oh, I guess they're sending I guess to give her backup, I suppose, or to keep an eye on her. A little column A, a little column B. Then we get our choice. Oh, do we go talk to Tigress or we tell her to, or just sneak past her? Again, I'm sneaky. Sneak in. These are some vicious looking dogs. Jump right back out, and then you end up talking to Tiger. So I'm assuming that would have been the right choice, and then you just missed this whole little dog scene. It's not very long. Talk to her, and of course they're kind of at each other, and I like how Tiger tries to one-up Carmen, but Carmen's just too smart for her, and she's like, actually, since I'm lead on here, you're actually my subordinate. You have to do what I tell you to do. And of course that kind of pisses her off. Like, they start to break in, and then Carmen tries to like, oh man, I kind of, where my partner or my crew's at, trying to get it out of her. But of course she's not dumb enough to give it up. She accidentally steps on a trap. Tigress, you idiot. Did she have those goggles? Shouldn't she have been able to see it? Anyways, she falls down into a hole, and Carmen has all her gadgets. So she grapple hooks out of there. And then you get another choice. Help her or leave her in the hole. I'm a nice guy. I helped her out. And then we got a little bonus thing here saying she'll remember that you helped her. I'm like, ooh. So there's going to be different things that happen that are going to affect the story later. In my playthrough, this never comes up again. I thought it was going to, but there were certain missions and areas that I didn't go to. So I'm assuming this will play out somewhere in the game on my next playthroughs. We get to the where all the soldiers are being held, and here's the thing. Coach Brunt wanted one of these things to be like a towel rack. Like, what? But she wanted to pick one out, so she has like in FaceTime, whatever. So she's walking through like, okay, not that guy, not that guy. She finally picks one and says, okay, we got a helicopter inbound, extract. It's going to drop a hook. Get the guy that I want. starts to pull it out, but, some guards see. Then we get our next choice. Do we jump on the statue and go up with it, or do we hide amongst the other soldiers? I choose to hide because I'm trying to be sneaky. And I don't know if that's the right choice, but you get out of it without any confrontation because she got dust all over and just hid with all the terracotta statues. Gets out, boom, we get our next mission. Then we get to choose our mission this time. It's funny how nothing with Tigress worked out here. Maybe that choice of helping her would have helped me if I would have picked the other choice. But we got Cleo and we got Cerebellum, and they're kind of arguing, oh, who gets to go first? And Carmen's like, I don't care. Just, that's not what this is about. I wanted to see that my crew's safe, my friends. And then we get that stupid scene where they do the Carmen Sandiego rap or whatever. But she took a picture trying to get any type of information where this is, sends it over to player, analyze this whole photo, analyze the bricks, the light, everything, try to find out where they're at so maybe we can try to save them. There you got our choice between the next two missions. It's either Cleo wants you to go steal some caviar, and this is how they set up. They go, okay, Cerebellum's like, oh, this is about ancient history. It's gonna be cool. You're gonna want to do mine. And then Cleo's like, hey, you're gonna go to Monaco and live it up on the big party. You're gonna be rubbing shoulders with the rich and famous. And of course, I love to see Carmen in a pretty dress, so I'm gonna choose the party. And so I chose Cleo's first. She wants to steal a whole bunch of caviar, and I guess the rarest caviar ever. There's only so many cans left in the world. You're gonna get them for me. And the thing that really sucks about this is this was for a charity event. So that's a thing that Carmen really worked for, was every time she steals and has any extra money, she gives a lot to charity, especially to orphanages and stuff like that. Now she's stealing from a charity, so she feels like absolute garbage, but she has to do it. She has to save her friends. So we get to Monaco and we get Carmen in this. It's a simple dress, but that's a pretty high slip there, young lady. Gorgeous as ever because that's Carmen Sandiego. Mind bomb. He's there providing entertainment and stuff, but he's there to actually, keep an eye on Carmen. And then we get, Julia. And she looks really pretty in her nice little black dress, cocktail dress. This guy, man, I give this guy props. He walks up to Carmen. He's like, hey, enjoying my event and everything. He's like, oh, would you like to have a dance? Because she's without a doubt the most beautiful woman in this room. And we get her next choice. Oh, do we go for the dance or do we refuse? Am I going to pass up Carmen, getting to watch Carmen in a beautiful dress dance around? But the reasoning is she's going to be able to kind of sneak into the kitchen that way. I'm like, oh, that's actually a pretty good plan. During the dance, she can kind of slip out. So we get this very traditional dance. It's really nice, but you can see that Carmen kind of has a kind of look on her face. But then we get this scene that it's really weird and kind of oh, I'm glad I picked this choice. Mind Bomb's DJing, and then he stops it and does a whole remix dubsteppy techno thing, and she starts dancing and she starts to do her little dance, and it's very nice. And the other guy's like, yeah, this Carmen has got the moves. I'll give you that. So they start dancing and everything, but then all the waiters start dancing and stuff, and I'm like, what's going on? Then we get that scene that we saw in the trailer where she kind of kicks up and everything. She's a phenomenal dancer. Undoes her hair and flips it out and everything. I'm like, dang, she's doing good. But that was all in her head. It was while she was doing this more traditional dance, she was thinking about that. So it's I'm glad I got to see it, but it actually didn't actually happen. Then she had a nice dance with that guy and he walks away. She turns, there's Julia. And she's like, oh, Carmen Sandiego. And she made up a name, but it's, Scarlet Rosa or something like that. And she's walking with her. She's like, oh, Carmen, we got some information that a V.I.L.E operative is here to steal the caviar. And then there was a V.I.L.E operative who stole one of those terracotta soldiers. So I know you're here to stop them. And because this is before season 2, so she still trusts Carmen Sandiego. Then we get her next choice. Tell Julia or trick her and then keep her out of the loop. I chose to keep her out of the loop because I didn't want to involve any more people than needed to be. And I thought, well, if they catch her talking to Julia, that's going to lead to a game over because they're going to say, oh, you're working with A.C.M.E, boom, game over. But I chose to trick her, and she's like, oh, here's the thing. When I picked this choice, I thought she was going to just be like, oh, I'll keep an eye out and just kind of sneak away. No, she full-blown traps her. I'm like, oh, I wouldn't have done that. But I made the choice. I got to live with it. She's like, come with me. The V.I.L.E operative, they're making their move now. They're on the roof. She runs up to the roof and then basically locks her behind the door, steals her A.C.M.E pen so she can't use it, and locks her on the thing. And then it says, Julia will remember that she did this. I'm like, I made a bad mistake. But, no game over, so keep moving forward. We get to the kitchen, And again, we get the choice. Grab all the caviar and just run out, which I thought was ridiculous. Or stash it, like go in there and sneak it in and, be more sneaky. I chose to do that. Even though my choice ends up being the wrong choice. We get to see Carmen in another outfit. Can this girl look bad in anything? It's impossible. So she's like waitress Carmen in, looks gorgeous as ever. Mind Bomb is like eating a bunch of food, like, I don't know, just being an idiot about it. He's not even eating normal. He's literally just eating as fast as he can. So she's making her way to the kitchen. She's gonna basically get all that caviar because they haven't plated it yet. But Mind Bomb starts choking, and I honestly thought he was pretending, like, oh, he's causing a distraction so Carmen can go in and get the caviar. He's actually choking and he's gonna like totally die. And I thought, oh, can we get to choose if we help him or not? You don't get to choose. Carmen goes in there, gives him the Heimlich. But when she gets back to the kitchen, all the caviar has been plated. She basically just puts it all into a vase and like just swapped it all with a bunch of like regular kitchen stuff and got out. Cleo's like, I didn't want you to do that. Now that all the cans have been opened, they're going to go bad. They're going to spoil. You failed. I'm like, oh man, the story's going to go on. But nope. Since I screwed up, I lost. I doomed Zach and Ivy to be V.I.L.E operatives. They got mind wiped, and then of course Chief pops up. No, how could you do this? You have to go back and make a new decision. So I go back to the decision to either stash it or run. Gotta choose run. So she just walks in and just grabs it. I'm like, oh, very sneaky, but that's the right choice. Bags it all up and starts to run for the door. And if I would have known she had a hang glider stashed, I would have been more apt to pick this choice. But she just runs out the window, the balcony is, grabs her hang glider, and boom, just takes off. And since I left, I didn't trust Julia. I left her on the roof, and I thought this was hilarious. She said that the La Femme La Rouge, like she does the whole chase thing. I thought that was absolutely ridiculous. I loved it. But I did Cleo's move, and then we're on to the next mission, and we get to like, oh, show me that Zach and Ivy are okay and everything. And like, okay, fine. Takes another picture, and she's like, hey, look at this. 2 different times a day, we can still see the light coming through. So it's either artificial or there's somewhere where it's still it's sunny all 24 hours a day, and that's in the Arctic. So that's where they're being held. Then I get another choice. Do I go after Zach and Ivy and go for the save, or do I still continue to play along with V.I.L.E? Again, being sneaky, I decided to do the next V.I.L.E mission, which is Cerebellum's, and we get to go to the good old US of A. We get to go to Montana because she wants a dinosaur bone. I guess this dinosaur bone still has some like tissue intact, so she wants to like clone a dinosaur. So freaking dinosaurs. But we get to Montana, a little bit of edutainment here, talking about like all this time where actually dinosaurs roamed and stuff. She has eyes on the camp, find the bone, so okay, we're gonna go get it. Next choice, either we chase down the plane that's being shipped, or we wait to find out where it's being taken to and then steal it then. Again, no action, gonna take the long way around. And after I failed that one time, like, oh, am I gonna fail again? But Cerebellum's like, fine, whatever, take your time, get there. And since you're breaking into a facility, you get to pick your operative that's going to work with you. So we got Lechev and El Topo. And again, my Latin brother, I got to pick him, right? He shows up, and I guess, I don't know if this is the right or wrong choice. I'm pretty sure they both are going to have their positives. But he's like, oh, I mapped out all the escape tunnels, like through the sewers and stuff. So when we need to get out of here, I can get us out. We get a little bit of, like a story here for him. He's like, oh, I'm so happy to work with you. And then she's like, oh, you're just working with V.I.L.E and you don't care. It's like, I don't hate anybody. I feel like we're just pawns in a bigger game. Getting existential there, El Topo, but I like it. So you break in. I say I, but you're not controlling everything. You break into the museum, and El Topo hits you up. Hey, A.C.M.E's here, so we got to work fast. Then we get our next choices: hide and wait for them to go away, and then sneak back in, or just make a run dash for it. I choose the hide, and wrong answer. She hides inside the big dinosaur mouth thing, but it falls apart. Like, how was I going to know that was going to happen? And basically, ninja vanish. She gets the hell out of there, and she tells Cerebellum, hey, I got to come back after A.C.M.E's out of here. But she's like, since they found out, they're going to move the dinosaur bone. You failed. Boom, I got Zach and Ivy killed again. Well, not killed, but mind wiped again. So I'm like, oh, I failed 2 times. Get back. The right answer is to run through there. But it's funny, even though you run through there, you still kind of get caught. But I guess you already had the bone in. You seize the bone. You find the bone in the case, but then A.C.M.E starts chasing after you. But the cool thing is, since I don't know if it's because I picked El Topo, he has the underground mapped, and that's how you escape. Pretty cool. And then, mission solved. We get our next thing, and it's like, oh, everything's done. Bring us all of our treasures. I thought you were sending them off one by one, but I guess she still has them all, which doesn't make any sense. But they're like, hey, bring all this stuff that we wanted, then we'll make the swap. And like, okay. Players like, oh, this is a trap, but you got to do it. What else? You got no choice. You're walking through the airport, and then Julia's there, like tailing you. But of course, Carmen's freaking awesome, so she knows she's there. Gives her the slip, and then, okay, maybe we can use A.C.M.E to our advantage. She tries to talk to her, but I was thinking to myself, oh, damn it, that choice I made before. Try to get her help. She's like, why should I help you? You didn't trust me or whatever. And then she doesn't help you. I'm like, ah, damn it. But here's the thing. Why did she come to the airport looking for you in the first place? Just to tell you no? Whatever, but it's a game, so what can you do? Go for the drop-off. They're going to meet us at these docks here in this French island. I get hit with the poison dart, and we get to see the lady from the dice show keeper. She's here. Hits her with the poison dart. I wake up and they mind wipe me and I lose. Lost 3 times. So you were supposed to trust Julia. I get in trouble. It's funny because this ending this is like the ultimate bad ending because Carmen becomes a V.I.L.E operative. Everyone got their treasure, so we get to see what's her face trying to make a dinosaur. Cleo has all this all the caviar. Coach is using that stupid thing as a freaking towel rack. And then you get 2 choices. You can actually start the whole entire game over, or you can start back where you trust Julia. So, of course, I trust Julia. Do all that. Everything else plays out exactly the same. Get back to the boat section after Julia ends up trusting you. I like how Paper Star's here, but she didn't do anything. She's just there to keep eye on the boat. But you can even tell, oh, that's Julia dressed up as Carmen, and Carmen's using her scuba suit to go underneath. And they're doing scans like where could they be, where they're going to be held. And then we see that it's in some facility there. Carmen finds it. Gets in there. We rescue. It's really, I kind of like how you rescue Zach and Ivy. Zach gives her like a big old hug because it's nice to see him actually show a little bit of affection, right? They get into this helicopter, and I'm thinking to myself, oh, this is where Tigress is going to help because I helped her in that other mission. No, nothing happens with that, so I'm going to have to replay to see how that helps you. Zach somehow knows how to fly a helicopter. He does his best, and I'm thinking, okay, these doors are shutting. He gets out there like, classic, the doors are shutting, and he slips out. That's the biggest BS thing in the world. But you get out. You saved you saved your buddies. You got all the treasures. And I thought this was really cute. Look how adorable Julia is in Carmen's little outfit. And then she's kind of like, oh, I'm Carmen Sandiego. Like she's playing it up. She's adorable. She gets a knock at her door, and there's all the treasures. And even our terracotta warrior is even holding flowers. Oh, what a nice guy. So I won. Hooray. That's I guess the good ending. I wonder if there's multiple good endings. Then you get the choice of the bonus scene. Here's the thing. I'm going to talk about this, but overall, this is a really fun little game. It's about a half an hour-ish, depending on what choices you make. So standard episode length. It was a fun little adventure. Carmen's doing cool stuff. We get her in a pretty dress. She does a little, it's dynamic, lots of different locations. If you're a fan, you're going to play this. It's going to be great. If you don't want to see what happens in the bonus thing, just end the video now. I'll give you a couple of seconds. Okay, you're still here. You get to choose a bonus scene, and this thing is absolutely hilarious. We get back to, I guess this is when Zach and Ivy were in that little prison in the Arctic, and the water starts dripping on his head, and it's like kind of making a beat. So he starts to beatbox. Ivy starts to beatbox, and they're doing the whole like, where in the world is Carmen Sandiego? And it's kind of irritating the guards, and they bust open the door. And I'm thinking, okay, what's going on? Then they whip out the classic Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego from the game show. Again, go back and watch it was like a kid's game show, trivia and stuff. A lot of geography questions. And they break down that version of the song. So they start singing the Carmen Sandiego theme song, and then we get a full-blown musical. This is like a Bollywood movie. You get all the characters singing. We have Tigress, she's singing about Carmen Sandiego, and Lechev and El Topo, they're doing the thing. And then the whole part was like, Carmen Sandiego. It's hilarious. Just beating this game for this scene makes everything worth it. And, then they do the whole thing, like she's going from place to place. It's the full song. They do the whole entire thing. Cerebellum singing, Coach, Cleo, they're all doing it. It looks like they had so much fun. I'm so happy for all the voice actors because this thing is absolutely completely out of character, but it's hilariously cool. It kind of goes on. We get even A.C.M.E, and then even Mind Bomb does the Carmen Sandiego. Both look at him like, huh? This thing's just hilarious. I just love it. And look at this ending screen right here with all the characters. Remember, if again, for people who old guys like me, in Street Fighter 2 for the Super Nintendo, if you beat the game without losing a round, you got like a special thank you message at the end that had all the characters. That looks exactly like this. I'll put them side by side. Tell me that isn't exactly the same. Then, they sing, and then Chief comes back on. She's like, "Hey, that was something a real toe tapper." But just to let you know, there's 8 different endings. You can go back and try to find them all, and that's the end of it. Again, wonderful, fun, great. I want a season 3 now. This was a fun little side thing, a little appetizer before the main meal. But yeah, definitely, I want more adventures with Carmen, and this thing was absolutely a blast to play. Crimson Saint here. Thanks for watching the video. If you're enjoying the content, be sure to sub, like, share, and hit the bell for notifications so you don't miss a single upload. If you have any tips or story ideas, hit us up on Twitter at C15 Podcast, or better yet, join our Discord server, link in the description below.